Most people don't know what's holding them back, but you do because you listen to me, Sam, your self-care guru and journal junkie. Welcome to Journal Entries, your safe place where you can tune in weekly to get tips, tricks, and journal prompts to uncover your feelings, gain clarity, and make your move. Welcome back to Journal Entries, everybody. Let's talk about why I am sipping a glass of wine while recording this episode. I'm just kidding. I'm actually sipping an Element. It's like liquid IV, it's electrolytes, out of a Six Flags cup, like a huge cup. And it's reminding me of the drink that was in the Six Flags cup this past summer. I went to Darien Lake with some mom friends with our sons, and I had a pumpkin beer in this drink, and it was such a fun day. It was a hot day. I think it was October. No, it was September. So it was this really warm September day. My son went on a roller coaster, and I myself am afraid of roller coasters. I scream before it even starts. So seeing him on it the very first time, he sat in the front all by himself with his arms up. It was just so crazy. I have so many fond memories. One of them being the pumpkin beer, but just being with these other moms and seeing my son have so much fun that day. And I have zero guilt about skipping dry January this year. And what this episode is about is finding that balance of enjoying yourself and feeling like you are a good mom and setting those goals, and really talking about why these extreme January challenges in particular, like dry January, might be hurting you more than helping you. If you've never heard my story, I go way back with restriction and setting these like really strict, I don't even want to say goals, but it felt like goals at the time with regarding food and nutrition. My goal was to eat like 1,200 calories or less, and I was tracking every single, crumb that I ate. I was also tracking every calorie that I burned. I was addicted to my heart rate monitor that I purchased, which is one reason why you never find me wearing a heart rate monitor. I don't have an Apple Watch or anything, and it's so freeing. I still remember the day that heart rate monitor, the battery died, and I committed to myself that I would not wear one ever again. I remember the apartment that I was living in, and it was like such a freeing feeling. And that was the very beginning. I was still going through binge eating at that point, but that was the very first step that I took towards emotional and food freedom. But I was just addicted to setting those types of goals that made me feel like I was in control. Setting a goal like dry January or any sort of restriction, because that's what dry January is. You're restricting yourself from alcohol. Or what I was doing when I was struggling with binge eating disorder is I was restricting myself from food. And the opposite of that is not allowing yourself whatever you want, but it's finding balance with that, finding balance with having alcohol and not going overboard, having food and not going overboard. And it is a whole thing. That's why there are programs to help you with both of those things. And these are just two examples. But it took me a while to experience both before finding my balance. But I've spent a couple years now feeling like I'm in my balance and knowing how I got here. And that's what I want to share with you today. Before I share that with you, I want to give you the permission slip and maybe even the glimmer, the insight that you can feel like your best self and you can feel like a good mom and you can reach your goals without setting these really strict goals for yourself. And it feels so good when you release the strictness around your life. The weekend before Christmas, my parents were watching my son. They did a sleepover. And so I went out to dinner with my sister, my brother-in-law, and my niece. And we went out to a brewery and we all got a craft beer. And that's just one moment that just felt so fun to enjoy a craft beer with friends over following rules. Like my former rules around alcohol would have been either don't have it or choose the lightest calorie beer that I could find, or don't get the beer because that has gluten in it and instead get something else that I don't know is probably lower calorie. It was all about calories for me at the time. So, with dry January specifically, this can trigger some unhealthy patterns for you. It can trigger the all or nothing mindset. What I mean by that is that you can start out strong. And what I mean by that is maybe you don't have any drinks and you're feeling really proud of yourself. You're feeling like you're actually achieving the goal, maybe for the first week of January or the second week of January. And then you have one sip of a drink or maybe a full drink and you think, crap, I fucked up and now I ruined it. I might as well just keep drinking the rest of January. And you don't even go back to trying to not have less alcohol. It's just well, oopsie, never mind. I lasted for 2 weeks and now it's over. That's the all or nothing mindset. You're either in or you're out. Where in reality, if you still wanted to do dry January, you could accept that you enjoyed that beverage, try and find the joy in it instead of judgment, and then get right back on track. Start again with the dry January if that is something that you want to do. Dry January can also trigger mom guilt, and here's how. There's the bad mom narrative that we tell ourselves. Think about when your kid has just had a tough day. They're whiny, or maybe they were arguing with the siblings or whatever, and you just want a glass of wine to decompress. But you've committed to dry January. So you feel guilty if you even want that glass of wine. Also, you feel like a bad mom or a failure if you break the challenge for a social event. Say your work is going out for happy hour, you can't break that or else you feel like a bad mom and you feel that mom guilt. There's also maybe other moms or maybe moms on social media that you follow that make you feel like you should be able to do it all. You should be able to handle your whiny kids and the work outings and, all the things and do the dry January and not feel any guilt and not feel any stress and just color. And that will be your solution to getting through it. And you know what? To me, we just need a glass of wine sometimes. But when you have these extreme challenges and you don't allow yourself that, you feel like a bad mom and you feel that intense mom guilt. But not just that, there's the social connection impact. You might miss out on wine nights with other moms who provide emotional support for you, all because of this extreme challenge. You might skip family gatherings because you don't want to be tempted to have a drink. You might even isolate yourself from connecting with other people again because you don't want to be tempted, or you might go to an event, but the whole time you're thinking, don't drink, don't drink, don't drink, or I hope nobody asks me why I'm drinking. You're just in your head the whole time. And there's so much added pressure to be perfect, to stick to this dry January. And last but not least, just within this like mom guilt, I feel like there's this pressure between being the healthy mom that doesn't drink and the relaxed mom who gets to choose what she wants to do. And if that choice is to relax with a beverage, she gets to relax with a beverage and not worry that it's, what is it called? Like empty calories. It's just something that she enjoys in that moment. This goes beyond dry January. Another extreme challenge that I see in January and throughout the year, but especially January, is 75 hard. Have you seen that? It is I was going to say workout challenge, but actually, let me pull it up. Oh my gosh. So just the branding for this, it says a tactical guide to winning the war with yourself. Oof, that alone. Okay, so 75 days straight. And a lot of people start this in January. You have to follow a diet, 0 cheat meals for the entire 75 days. Work out 2 times a day for at least 45 minutes, and one has to be outside. Drink a gallon of water per day, read 10 pages of a nonfiction entrepreneur book, and take progress pictures every single day. And there's a lot of different variations. I've also seen 75 medium and 75 soft. So lots of different, ways that you can approach this. Maybe it doesn't have to be exactly as the official one that I just pulled up, but no matter what, that is a pretty strict, extreme approach to a quote unquote healthy lifestyle. I used to be that person that would have 100% followed something like 75 hard. And I will say it is helpful to follow something. It's nice to be told, like, do this workout today, do that workout today, or even a nutrition plan as a guide, like maybe eat this today, eat that today. However, again, now that I am in this season of life where I feel like I'm just in tune with myself and more balanced, I'm not the leanest I've ever been or healthiest that I've ever been, but I feel like I am. Like I feel the most centered. I feel the most peaceful. I feel the calmest, even though my life is probably the busiest, most chaotic, most overstimulated at times, but I know how to regulate that. And it's all about honing in on your intuition and listening to yourself and finding what works for you. This is exactly what we're working on inside Emotionally Empowered this month. That is my journaling community membership. And in case you haven't heard, there is a current 7-day trial that's only happening this month. So if you want to check it out for free for 7 days, click the link in the show notes and I'll share more about that later. But the first step to breaking free from these extreme challenges is trusting yourself, which is a huge step that we will break down together. But it's taking back your power. It's taking the power away from the program that you're following and asking yourself, what does my body want to do today? How do I want to move today? What would feel best for me today? What do I actually want to eat for breakfast? Do I actually want a beverage tonight? And you know what? Some days you will not want the alcohol. You will not want chocolate. When you start asking yourself these questions and showing up for yourself in this way, you're going to start hearing your inner voice and realizing that you don't want these things all of the time. It's just when you've spent years not asking yourself these questions and relying on outside programs and outside challenges to tell you what to do, you just assume that when you're not following an extreme program, your body will default to wanting the alcohol, to wanting the chocolate, to wanting these things that aren't quote unquote good for us. When in reality, things aren't good or bad for us. They just are. And the whole process is coming back to ourselves, asking ourselves, what is it that we want? What is the desired feeling that we want? And what can get us there? And then trusting our intuition, trusting ourselves. The second thing is what you need today and how you want to feel today. And the support you need today all depends on your season of life, what's happening, who you have around you, the struggles and strengths that you have right now. I am in a unique season of life, I would say, as a single mom entrepreneur. I will not be in this phase forever, and I'm honoring that. Right now in my season of life, I am very flexible with my fitness and my nutrition and really listening to what it is that will feel good in the moment and feel good and light me up so that I can show up as the best mom, as the calmest, most centered version of myself, and not hold myself to such strict standards and expectations where I know I'm going to be impatient if I'm trying to do 75 hard and trying to be that patient mom that's very present with her son. Or if I'm actively trying to never have a drop of alcohol in January and my son is super whiny one day, I'm not going to be the patient mom knowing that I'm restricting myself from something that I might want one day. So know what season of life you're in and honor that. And also know that won't be your season of life forever. And this season might end for you tomorrow or in a month or in a year or in 5 years. Based on that season of life, create sustainable habits for you that bring you joy. And again, that will be different than the past. If you're used to following programs like I was, if you're used to following diets like I was, if you're used to following what other people are telling you to do like I was, that worked for you in the past. Maybe it didn't even work for you, but it's just what you did in the past. Draw a line in the sand, and this is you now, and you can take that power back. You can reclaim what habits you want, and you also get to choose which habits based on the desired feeling that you want. So if you want to feel more joy, if you want to feel more peace, if you want to feel more centered, if you want to feel more patient, whatever it is, align your habits with that. So with that being said, I want to offer you some quick journal prompts that will quickly allow you to check in with yourself. So take a deep breath. And if you're not driving, take out the notes app of your phone. And I want you to first jot down the question, how am I feeling? This is the first question where if you're journaling, you will answer that. But this is honestly something that you could just close your eyes and ask yourself that and see what comes up for you. The next prompt is, what do I want to be doing? Or what would bring me joy or the desired feeling that we were talking about in this moment? This is where you learn who you are and what you want. Do you want to exercise? Do you want to read that entrepreneur book? Do you want a glass of wine? Do you want to go out with friends, or do you want to stay home? That is just a quick 2-question journal prompt flow, similar to the ones that I provide inside Emotionally Empowered. Again, the theme this month inside is the breaking free from the all or nothing mindset, where 3 days a week, I'm giving prompts on a specific area that you can break free from the all or nothing mindset. So the weeks left, week 3, is focusing on that black and white mentality with career and personal growth. And then the last week is relationships and boundaries. But when you jump in, you have access to all past prompts, not just of the January breakthrough theme, but all 150 prompts from 2024 as well. So week 2 was the all or nothing mindset with motherhood and family. And week 1 was self-worth and body image. And then twice a month, we have journaling workshops. That's where everybody shows up and you share how you're feeling. And I create a custom journal prompt flow for the whole group. And we work through it together. There's also a 24/7 community where you can share what comes up for you or what specifically you're going through and just get that support and that accountability to showing up for yourself and that village. And again, there is that 7-day totally free trial of Emotionally Empowered that is only lasting through January 31st. So hop into Emotionally Empowered free for 1 week. After that, the price is the lowest ever at $47 for full access. That will also be changing. So that's the lowest price. You can cancel anytime. I hope to see you in there. Lastly, I just want to say that you don't need another challenge. You don't need this extreme thing to get you started working towards your goals or feeling better. You need clarity on what it is that you actually want and how you want to feel, and permission to trust yourself. I hope to see you inside Emotionally Empowered, where we can work on this together. But if not, I hope that this episode was the starting point for you and also the many permission slips that you may have needed. If you found this helpful, please, please, please share it to your social media. I would love for you to tag me and to just chat about what goals you have. And also if you're doing Dry January. If you are, kudos to you. I will cheers my electrolytes to you right now and think of you when I'm sipping my wine, probably tonight. All right, I will see you guys next week. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's journal entry. I love connecting with my listeners, so make sure you screenshot this episode and tag me on Instagram at samantha.s.says so I know you're listening. And don't forget to grab your free training and journal prompts at www.samanthapenkoff.com/podcast.